just welcome all of you. Super excited to have you in this space. Welcome to the JA1C Live Like Leo Delegation Bring It Home event. That was a mouthful, but welcome. Really looking forward to sharing space with all of you today and really just using this opportunity to reconnect outside of the Dominican Republic, and really reflect back on our experiences and share a bit about what the summer was like, and what you're looking forward to sort of next in terms of applying everything from this experience and this group into the next chapter of senior year and planning out your future. So as most of you know me, hopefully you remember me. My name is Sunila. I'm a part of the Global Glimpse team. We also have Carissa and Eliza, who are on the call, who are part of the Global Glimpse team, along with the Live Like Leo Foundation team. And then, of course, the rest of you, which is our JA1C crew. So welcome. Before we move forward really quickly, if you haven't had a chance to, or if you just hopped on, we're going to go ahead and take a second to rename ourselves to our first name only and our pronouns. If you can, please join us on camera. Most of you have already done that. Thank you. This is clearly not your first GG session. And then lastly, throughout today's conversation, just feel free to, really utilize the chat. This space is for you all to connect, to share. So at any point during today's conversation, someone says something that resonates with you, reminds you of a memory, or you feel like saying hello, just go ahead and drop it in the chat. Awesome. So today, I'm actually not going to be the host, but instead today, I really want to take this opportunity to introduce Lise, who you all know, of course, who's going to be our líder del día. So I'm going to pass it over to Lise now to run the show. Lise, please go to introduce yourself and take it away. Yes, let's give Lise lots of snaps.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Lise, as Sunila said. But yeah, I'm a senior at Hayward High School. And well, I want to say first, I'm really excited to be the leader of the dia again, guys. Like, I'm really excited. I was the first one who did it at the Dominican Republic. So it's pretty exciting to do it again. And I'm just excited to be able to do it here right now. But before I go ahead and start, I just want to say a little bit of what is the líder del día. And basically it's leader of the day. That's what it translates to. And basically it's just someone, well, in the DR, that's what we would do is we would pick somebody, well, usually two people. And what they would do is would basically get an agenda of the day and go with us throughout the day and tell us what we were going to do, what activity goes next, to make sure we had sunscreen on, lots of water, all of that stuff. And yeah, that's basically what it was. And well, now to officially kick us off, I would like to start by I don't know, I thought about this and I was like, I think it would be a great idea to do a little warm up with food, because I've been missing a lot of the Dominican Republic food, especially the passion fruit drink that we had. So I would love if everybody could just put in the chat their favorite food or drink that they had in the Dominican Republic that you really just loved. And well, of course, for those who did not go to the Dominican Republic trip, that's okay. I didn't forget about you guys. Just put down a food or drink that really was your favorite in a memorable trip, recent or not recent. So yeah, just type it in the chat. A ver, let me open it. Let's see. Okay, papaya. Oh my gosh, yes, the papaya. The papaya. Okay. So I would like to take a chance to have one or two people to just come off mute and just share with us a little bit more of these answers that you guys have in here. So if we could have a couple, anybody somewhere, just come off mute. Then I'm gonna call you guys. Okay, let's call some people. Maggie, you wanna go?
Okay, I'll go. Sorry if it's loud. I'm in my school's team room right now, but my favorite food was when we had smashed yuca. I don't know. It was just really, really good with everything. Also, I loved the fried chicken when we went to like that place. It was so good. Like I'm pretty sure everyone got seconds because that's how good it was.
Let's do. Thank you. Okay, let's have one more person share. Let's do Denisha. Would you like to share?
Sure. I remember just having coconut water from the coconut in some of my travels, which I love. But whatever you guys are eating in that picture, man, just look, the first time I saw it, I was like, what is that? I want that.
Perfect. Thank you. I really need to try to drink some coconut water from an actual coconut. That'd be pretty cool. I really need to try that. But yeah, thank you so much for you guys just sharing out. And well, now I'd like to just quickly pass it back to our co-host, Sunila, who will just continue us through what we're going to do next.
Thank you, Lise. Can we get lots of snaps for Lise? Amazing warm up. You guys are making me really hungry, but I'll try to keep it together for the next hour and a half. So I just want to take just a quick minute to walk us through how we're going to spend time together in this space this evening. So in a moment, we're going to get to hear from Dinasha and Mike, as you all know, as Leo's parents. And, you know, they really just want to take a few minutes to welcome you all back first off, and just share with you all a bit about, you know, how they followed along with your journey this summer, and what really stood out to them and what really touched them. And I know it was a lot. So I'm looking forward to hearing from the two of them. And then after that, on behalf of your JA1C crew, we actually have Alex, Alan, and Kyle, who have prepared a GG experience highlight to share. So on behalf of all of you, they're going to share a bit about the experience, their reflections, the impact, and give Dinasha and Mike an opportunity to just kind of hear it live, virtual. And then, you know, really want to make sure you all have taken out time to show up here for one another today, and for this space, and for Dinasha and Mike. So I want to make sure you all have an opportunity to connect as well, which we'll do in small breakout groups this evening, where you'll get the opportunity to reflect, to share, and just reconnect with one another. And then lastly, I know you all are waiting for this, so we'll hold off until the end to make you wait a little longer. But if you remember, you know, once you returned, all of you nominated a peer for this year's Leo Spirit Award. So, you know, Leo's parents are going to lead us in announcing who the recipients of the award will be. And then Lise is going to close us off in traditional GG fashion with some big love. So that's how we're going to spend our evening. And I'm going to pass it back over to our leader del dia. Lise is helping me pronounce this well, so I hope I made her proud. But I'm going to pass it over to you, Lise, to go ahead and take it away.
Perfect. Thank you, Selena. Okay, so as you all remembered, when we were in the DR, we talked about Leo's story, the Live Like Leo Foundation, and what they do in their work, and thought a lot about how we could live into Leo's legacy throughout the trip. So to start us off, I would like to pass it to Leo's parents, who are excited to share with us how they followed along with us through our journey, guys. They actually followed along. I was in shock when I heard that. So everyone, let's show some big, big love to Leo's mom, Denisha, and Leo's dad, Mike.
Thank you, Lise. Hi, everyone. I am Leo's mom, Dinasha, and I am also co-founder of the Live Like Leo Foundation. And, you know, just we have our mission statement put up there. We want to give young minds and families an opportunity to go abroad. And you guys really brought that mission home for us today. So we want to welcome back JA1C. We're so excited. Like Lise said, we were following along. We're so blown away by your blog entries and just seeing all the growth, the camaraderie, the experiences come alive on paper. You guys all wrote so well, so beautifully. Really impressed with it, and can't wait to dig in a little bit deeper today. And we are also going to talk a little bit about our favorite, or not favorite, but just the parts of the blogs that really stood out to us. So we can dive into that. So This one is the one that kind of resonated with me, which is fear is only a barrier to one's success. To be courageous when just knowing a little of the local language, the only way one can become truly fluent or make true connections to local people and culture is through effort. It was no longer an option to run away from immersion. And thank you, Rodney, for these really powerful words. It really took me back to my travels and my living abroad and being immersed. And that's also plays back to our mission. That's what we're about. It's about going and immersing yourself in another culture, another set of people who have like minds like you, but they're living in a different setting. And being willing to go out and learn about that and make mistakes or have miscommunications. Because through those struggling moments, I think is really when you actually bond and make a deeper connection with people. So this really hit home for me. And I'm so glad that you had this experience and learned, Rodney, the way you did to kind of put your fears aside and immerse yourself. I will hand it over to Leo's dad and little sister.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. I'm Mike, Leo's dad, co-founder of the foundation. I'm also here with my young daughter, who's 9 years old. She wanted everybody to know, she wanted to make sure everyone knew she was born in Japan. So, so she's got her credibility here and her international experience. We read through the blogs and there were a lot of great things and a lot of things that touched us, but this was one that meant a lot to me and I just wanted to unpack a little bit and talk to everyone about. So this came from Lonnie and Sarai. As we lived together, we learned that you didn't have to know someone for years and years to be close to them, but rather the small intimate moments of eating together, laughing together, giving each other big love, and allowing everyone to be themselves made our little group of total strangers a close-knit family. This really hit me because, I feel like as I grew up and as a youth, I was pretty guarded around intimate moments and how I spent time. That was really reserved for family and people who were really close friends. I didn't have the foresight to really be vulnerable and open up to understand that. It wasn't until later in my life, actually, as of recently, I started to appreciate and open myself up to those moments. And allow those moments to sink in. And I think the biggest part for me was where I really learned was how to follow up on those moments, right? So you have that moment, you engage with someone who's new in your life, but you follow up on that. You let those people know that. You take actions that tell people or show people that vulnerability and that they could be friends for life. Like hopefully a lot of you will be. This experience isn't just about, being abroad and gaining all these values. It's about these connections and these friends that you hopefully will have for life. So it just touched me and I just wanted to share that. And so I think a lot of it is about vulnerability there. So Lonnie and Sarai, thanks for that quote. And it's great. So that's it.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Denisha and Mike, for following along with our experience in the DR by just reading our vlogs. I think it was just crazy how we would have these long days and then we just sit down and just reflect and just remember everything that happened throughout the day. So yeah, it's just, I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed our vlogs. And while we're glad to get that you guys got a glimpse of our experience in the DR, I think it'd be great if you guys had another perspective from like the actual students. So I think it'd be great if we bring my three friends, Alex, Alan, and Kyle, to just come and walk us through the summer JA1C experience on behalf of the delegation. Everyone, please feel free to comment in the chat and to add what they share. So like add any moments, memories, highlights that you guys have into whatever they say. So that being said, Alex, you can take it away.
Thank you, Lise. Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Miyamoto, and I attend Davis Senior High School. I first want to say thank you to Mike and Denisha for partnering with Global Glimpse to make this delegation happen. And I'm really excited to have the opportunity to share a little bit about our delegation's experience this summer in the DR, and basically just fill you in on what it was really like for us. Today, specifically, I'm going to talk about what it was like for us as students to come together as strangers from all over the Bay and experience this program together. So starting off at the airport, I think we're all really nervous in the beginning. Introducing ourselves was probably the scariest part, but I remember everyone was so welcoming and warm, especially Bridget. She was just really warm. And I remember she was just the first person I met, and she was really, really warm and nice. I remember making a promise to myself that I would try to be the one that would introduce myself first and to just be the vulnerable one and to just get the ball rolling with introductions. It just felt right to me in the time. So I think that's why I did it. Soon enough, we all started to talk, and I think we all realized just how nervous everyone was, and that comforted us. Fast forward to landing in the Dominican Republic, we were greeted by our program coordinators, Pam and John. And the first thing I remember when we came out of the airport was them saying how energetic our group was. I mean, they'd gone through multiple other trips and mentioned how our group was just ready to go and we looked alive. I think it was 1 a.m. off a full day of traveling, and we were just radiating this energy. The next day, we soon all became really connected. Playing Uno during the free time we were given, the first free time we were given, was what really built the foundation for a group as a whole. There was just a lot of excitement and communication throughout our whole group, and it was really, really fun. Following that, with the part of the program structure, we had reflections. I think they were daily, and that was really what brought us together on an emotional level. We all shared really personal things during the small group discussions that built our group into a more connected family. And another thing I want to know is how I noticed that our group throughout the trip was, let me restart. One thing I noticed about our group throughout the trip was how versatile we were as a whole. We were able to have a lot of fun playing around on the beach, playing soccer, cards, pool, and we even did cheerleading stunts. Shout out to Lise for organizing that. Yet at the same time, we were able to get to work and really indulge and really immersify ourselves into the serious matters that we were given. I think what made our group so versatile was our common understanding of each other, and that we were able to bond so early on. When problems arose, we attacked them as a group, and more importantly, as a family. And I feel as if Global Glimpse gave our group an authentic space to build this connection as a group, because here we were confined to this space with 20 other people. I've personally never been in a situation quite like it, but we were able to connect with one another through the space and build meaningful, authentic relationships. And I was able to have a deeper bond with people, with you guys that I've only known for a few days, opposed to my friends that I've known for years. I mean, during our big love meetings at the end of the day, I think it was every day, we would go on for 30 minutes plus, just adding gratitude and appreciation for one another. And for those of you that don't know, Big Love is a section during our nightly meetings where we have the chance to express our appreciation for one another and thank them for something that we noticed that they did during the day. It's only supposed to last around 5 to 10 minutes, but every single person in our group chose to say something with what seemed to be about everyone. I mean, those things would last forever, but they were amazing. And that's a really memorable part of our trip. So I share all this today to say that although we started off this summer as strangers, we ended the summer as a group, a family. And I can truly say I'm so grateful that I got to meet every single one of you, because it really is all of our differences that brought us together and what has given us so much in common now. I hope what I shared helps you better understand our experience. And now I'd like to hand it over to Alan to share about what we actually did for 2 weeks in the DR.
Thank you, Alex, for explaining our relationship and who we are as a delegation in the DR. Anyways, hello everyone. My name is Alan and I attend Westmont High School. To build off what Alex shared, I would love to share what life was like being a glimpser in the DR and what we did for those 2 weeks. We would wake up around 7 a.m. to about 6 a.m. if we were really busy that day. Do our morning routine, whether that was reading a book or drinking water, or just like spending our leisure time and taking a shower. Once it was time to have breakfast, we would flood into the room to just get our day started. We would be wonderfully shown the food we were given by Wellen, our wonderful cook who always made the amazing Dominican cuisines. And we would always give him this grand thank you. And it would be, sometimes it would be too loud, but I'd say it's just the way we showed our appreciation for him. Anyways, after that, we would take our time eating breakfast, and we would let ourselves be reminded of what the day had to come or had planned for us, because we need to set our mind for the topic at hand, whether that was going to a coffee farm or thinking about the immigration process in the DR. But as we were thinking about that, we had to get ready for the trip to that location so that we could immerse ourselves further. So we got ready, put on some sunblock, and got on the bus. Sometimes we would get a little bit rowdy. We would start to sing along on the bus. And our favorite song as a group was to sing Let It Go the entire car ride over. Some of us joined in, some of us didn't know the words, but it was a fun time all around. I really enjoyed it, at least. Although once we got to the location, we got serious for just to respect the speaker of the day or the community member that we were going to talk to and ask questions about. Again, as I said, these topics would range from coffee grains to immigration process. We would always learn something new every single day. So we always had questions to ask. During the immigration day, I remember one of our speakers answering so many questions that it ended up being like 20 minutes over the intended time. But that's how much we cared about learning about the culture and learning about the situation in the DR. And I think that just makes us that much more special, because we care and we genuinely want to learn. But after that, we would either break up to the bus and ride over to the hotel that we were staying at to have lunch, again provided by Welling, or depending on the accommodation, we would stay there to have lunch. After we wrap up lunch, we'd either go have our own free time, or we'd go to another trip involving the topic, but with a different speaker or with a tour, like the coffee process and how the factory processes coffee grains from the actual bean to the grains that you see at the store. As Alex mentioned before, the nightly meeting, which came after coming back from the second trip, was a time to reflect and to come together so that we can notice what others might have said or just we missed entirely. So we get the broader idea and everyone's view on everything. We'd give big loves to each other, my favorite part, and we'd pass the torch to the next líder del día after seeing their talent. Next, they would go over the schedule for tomorrow, whether that was giving us notes of what to wear, what to prepare for, giving us the main idea of tomorrow and setting us up for success, essentially. With the remaining time after the meeting, we'd just relax until lights out. But regards to the trips we went on during the day, I would have to say that a few stuck out to me. One was Global Business Day, and the other Deconstructing Poverty Day. The global business we went to was a coffee farm to sell seedlings to other companies who wanted to properly grow them. The owner of this farm was Miguel Serafin, who is the owner of the coffee. Fortunately, we were able to experience what life was like at this farm, and it just resonated in me, and it felt accomplishing to do at the end of the day, knowing that we helped and like how these people lived on a farm, and not lived on a farm, but worked on a farm, and like we appreciated them for what their work was. The other trip, Deconstructing Poverty Day, is what I think was the most impactful day on our trip. The community member that we talked to was Ramon, and he was going to talk about the hardships of poverty in Jarabacoa. And we had to meet him at a dump because that's where he worked. He would clean up the recyclables and into these huge bags that you wouldn't imagine a guy to do. And for such a small amount, it showed how unfair it was, but it recognized the idea of hardships of the Dominican poverty. How some people couldn't afford medicine and others had food insecurity. This resonated in me as while I was going home, actually. I wanted to change my community so that people don't have to worry about that kind of thing. So I ended up researching about foundations that provided help with food insecurity. And I ended up finding a foundation called Second Harvest that gives people food and just donates them for people in need. I hope that that gives you the image of how the Global Glimpse was structured and the day of a Global Glimpse there. Anyways, I would love to pass it on to Kyle to talk about the impact of our experience.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kyle, and I use he, they pronouns. I am currently a senior at El Cerrito High School. Shout out Bay Area. I would like to thank Alex and Alan for really painting a picture of how our group came together and how we experienced Global Glimpse in this DR. To build off of what Alex and Alan both said, I want to talk about the impact that this experience had on both our whole group and myself. I know that this had a very big impact on all of us. I remember pretty vividly in one of our end of trip reflections at the end of the 2 weeks, we did an activity where we all shared what this trip had inspired in us and what goals we had that we wanted to accomplish when we got back home. Two of the most common themes that everyone agreed upon were a newfound appreciation for our opportunities in the US, especially education, and an inspiration to take action in our own communities. As teens living in big cities that are overwhelmed with economic and social struggles, it can feel like there's no way for us to make an impact. But we managed to make a really big impact in the DR in just a couple of days during our community action project. Imagine what we could do in a month, right? I also want to say that I'm so proud of the people in our delegation who are continuing this legacy and this community action by becoming Global Glimpse ambassadors. And this trip also had a very big impact on myself. In the DR, we learned about the importance of education, how people living there can use education as one of the only ways to get out of the endless cycle of poverty. It can literally be a lifeline. I decided, since in the US, I have grown up with so many opportunities that I've always taken for granted. Even if I tried hard in school, I especially took my education for granted. So I decided that I didn't want to take those opportunities for granted, and that I wanted to focus on my schoolwork and make sure that I really got the most out of my education here. But not long into the school year, I realized that there was something standing in my way, distracting media. I was getting so caught up in my phone and so distracted that I was procrastinating on my work and trying to rush to finish my assignments. So I decided to delete all of my endless scroll social medias and streaming services, a whopping 11 apps in total, 2 social media apps and 9 different streaming apps, including YouTube. I can definitely say that there was a huge impact. I had so much more time to focus on my schoolwork, on my studying, and on personal projects that I was having fun with. And I felt more connected to the people around me, including my friends and family. I think that this was the beginning of my journey to take my experiences from Global Glimpse and apply them to my life. Because as Gandhi once said, if you want to change the world, start with yourself. I think I can speak for everyone in JA1C when I say that this has been a milestone in our personal journeys in becoming more conscientious global citizens. I would like to acknowledge, however, that we could not be here without all of you. Going back to Alex's point in the beginning, this experience was really about people. It was about the connections we made, and it was about everyone on this call who made that possible. So I'd like to give big love to my JA1C delegation, to our amazing GGLs, and to everyone at Global Glimpse and Live Like Leo for partnering to make this opportunity possible, to make this impact on me possible. Thank you.
That's me giving a drum roll. Thank you, Alex, Alan, and Kyle so much for just walking all of us through the GG experience on behalf of JA1C. I hope you all take, the next few minutes as we move through the program to read all the love that you got in the chat. And just thank you for, taking the time to really first, over the last several days when you knew this was going to happen, reflect on your experience and to show up today in this way to share it with your peers, with, us at GG and with Mike and Danasha. So just a heartfelt thank you to the 3 of you and to everyone in the chat who is just blowing it up for them and, sort of sharing your own experience and how you've been faring. So just thank you all. And to, wrap up the highlight section, the experience highlight section, we have a quick surprise video for all of you and for Mike and Danasha that shows just a small glimpse of, what you all did in the DR, what you looked like in the DR. And some of your faces are like, oh my God, it looks beautiful. So just a quick video to just, share our appreciation through showing a highlight of your delegation. Please, you know what to do. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down for the volume. Awesome. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. I saw a couple of you recording. We will send it out to you, promise, so you have it and can share it. But just quickly on behalf of Global Glimpse, just want to say thank you so much, Mike Dinasha, Live Like Leo Foundation, for partnering with us to, make this opportunity possible for young people, for believing in the Global Glimpse mission, and for tying this mission, this experience, these young people and us to your values and to your organization, and the legacy that you want to build for Leo. So just thank you from all of us. And we're going to move forward. I'm getting a little emotional, so I'm going to keep it moving. But for our next section, Alex, Alan, Kyle had an opportunity to share what they've been reflecting on, how they've been thinking about their experience and putting it into words. And now I want to make sure you all have the opportunity to do the same. You've been back from the DR for some weeks, over a month now. So the experience has been sitting with you a bit. You've gone back to school, you've gone back to your day-to-day life. So what we want to do now is just take a few moments to reflect on that experience. And specifically in a moment here, and we'll do this in chunks, so I'll give you guys like the instructions. But in a moment here, I would love for you all to take a few minutes and think back to the last reflection session you had in the DR. Kyle shared a bit about just how they've worked on stopping certain things when, since they've been back, and focusing on the opportunities that they have and so on and so forth. And when you all were in the DR, you made a commitment to yourself, right, of what you were going to do with this experience. How were you going to apply it to your life back home? What were you going to stop doing, start doing, continue doing for yourself, for your family, your community? So I want to go ahead and give us 3 minutes now. If we need longer, we'll take longer. If you need to go run and grab like your GG notebook like Lise did earlier when I showed her this section, feel free to do that. But we're going to take 3 minutes now and just, quietly, individually reflect on that last session that you did the DR. And then I'll walk us through how we'll share this experience with one another. Feel free to go off camera if you want to, just for the next 3 to 4 minutes, and then we'll come back together.